We are back with another Human First AI Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Montague. My guest this week is Jessica Miller from Jessica Miller Coaching. You can find her at jessicamillercoaching.com. We both made it very easy for you. We're good at marketing. You just avenue9.com for Avenue 9, jessicamillercoaching.com for Jessica. We're going to talk about offers here a little bit. We're going to talk about some cool marketing stuff, probably a little less AI this week than marketing, but I feel like it's good because we got a pro on here. Jessica, you're the host of the award-winning podcast, It's Your Offer. And I've been debating on how you say that. Is it like, it's your offer, stupid? Or is it like, it's your offer?
I think it depends on who I'm talking to be honest. No, actually, it's just like, it's your offer. Like it, the problem is it's your offer. So yeah. Although one of my mentors did say you should be like, it's your offer, like expletive. I was like, I don't know if that's my brand, but it would be funny.
It's your blanking offer. So I love that because I think that takes us right into kind of human first marketing here, which is a lot of people get distracted by tactics and tools and they're like, oh, I can send, 84 emails and 100 social media posts a day and I can generate 1,000 blogs. But if that's not going anywhere, what's the point of all that? Like, you're just creating noise. So can you talk about kind of the importance and the structure of an offer so that whatever you're doing with AI makes sense?
Yeah. So it basically exactly what you said. In my world and in the work that I've done with people, it really is about creating an offer that is so binge worthy that when people come across it, they say hell yes. And you and I have talked a little bit about, from a brand, I help people create these hell yes offers. And that came out of working with a lot of different people as a business coach and thinking they were amazing and they had amazing ideas and they were doing all the thing. Like as entrepreneurs, we're working really hard. But what I've learned from my journey and what really kind of is the rooftop message that I would stand on and yell, that is like, hard work is awesome, but you do not want to be working hard unnecessarily. You want to know in your business where those powerful levers are. And in my world as a business coach, we want to help you make more profit. It's not even about more money because people can make a lot more money working a lot harder and spending a lot more. And then they end up net zero or negative. So we're looking for the profit. In your business, if you have a hell yes offer, especially if you're like under $1 million, I would say $750,000 or lower, it is the most profitable profit lever you can pull. So hell yes to the offer makes all that marketing, to your point, driving people to it, writing those things, literally pay off.
Yeah, I find this big kind of disconnect in there, though, because I 100% agree with you. I was on your podcast and we nerded out about this, so I don't have to share my thoughts too much here. But I think that good offers are usually pretty obvious, right? They are that hell yes opportunity. So I learned that lesson in my career where we were working really hard to launch a bunch of different products and stuff. And then one time we had this throwaway idea like, hey, people are asking for us to break out this kind of intro course out of the big whole main course and just sell the intro. Like, is that all right if we do that and throw it up for like $150? And it did like $8 million the first year and we didn't even advertise it. Like, no, we didn't try at all.
Right.
And we're like, oh, maybe that's not cheating. That's the way your business should be.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
And I think people overthink how easy it can be. But that was the disconnect I was talking about, is they kind of overcomplicate it, that it's
100%.
It should be obvious, but it's also really easy to mess this up.
Yeah. And we as entrepreneurs, I think we have a bias for complexity. The market says it should be hard. There's so many shiny objects. We are creative innovators. So we're drawn to those things. And I'm not suggesting they're not awesome. But to your point, when you have an offer that hits, and at that point for the offer you're talking about, it's about optimization of that offer. Like you have proof of concept, it is selling. Now it's how do you optimize it to create more while doing less? It's that messy middle part where it's not quite working. And we think, let's do more things. Let's put more work streams in. Let's do all this marketing. When we're looking at the business not creating the result we want, which is often cash flows, and we feel like we need to chase the leads all day. But the truth of the matter is, if that offer is not optimized, essentially you're driving people to a bucket where you're leaking them out. And it's just not efficient. And I hate not efficient.
Yeah.
So I feel like it is really the epicenter of your business. And when you nail it and you optimize it, it informs all those other pieces. So you know who to talk to, you know where they're hanging out, you know what to feed into AI, you know the kind of content they're going to, respond to. It just makes everything so much easier. So there's a place for all of it. I think you should start with your Hell Yes offer.
Yeah, I do too. So I'm wondering if you can distill what a hell yes offer is into a few items.
Mhm.
Because for me, I think there's this kind of stereotype that's in our heads that people overcomplicate instantly. Like we've seen so much bad marketing. And what
Yeah,
I found is really interesting because I come from the sales world, you do too, where
sure.
salespeople are portrayed on TV as like pushy business card slinging, polyester suit wearing salespeople. You were in pharmaceutical
Yeah,
sales. People can probably picture a stereotypical
right.
pharmaceutical sales rep and what
Mhm.
they
Especially
do,
back in
right?
the day.
Uh, yeah. So I think when people think about like I have this small business and I want to create an offer, they think, let me think of the offers I remember. And the ones you
Yes.
remember are kind of annoying and repetitive, or they have these tropes, or you think of an offer landing page where it's like a mile long and it's got
Yes.
testimonials and we need case studies and videos and ROI statements and all this kind of crazy technical stuff that the offers you don't remember are the ones you didn't even think of. You were just like, oh, hell yes, I'm in. And it didn't require a landing page and a countdown timer and all this crazy stuff because you didn't even notice it. The best salespeople in the world, like a doctor's office, you go in and you give them a blank check every time you see them. You don't check their credentials. You don't ask for testimonials. You don't compare prices or shop around. They've built your trust and have the credibility and stuff. And um, certainly after you see a doctor a few times, like intimacy that you don't want
Mhm.
to go anywhere else. And so you just go in and they say, hey, you should do this. And you say, great. And you move on and you don't think, oh, well, did I, was I part of an email sequence and a limited
Right.
time offer for this?
Mhm.
No.
Mhm. No.
So can you tell me a little bit about what a really good offer looks like compared to all those stereotypes I just outlined?
Yeah. So really, it comes down to what you talked about, which is like the architecture of the offer. Like, what does a Hell Yes offer include? And you said it right off the bat, which I thought was so interesting, which is most people, when they craft offers, the first thing that they do is look outside of themselves. They
Mm,
look at the marketplace, they think, huh, what can I sell today? What's everyone else buying? What did Mike do? Like it's this external process. One of the most powerful things you can do in your business with your offers is start with your hell yes. What do you love to do? What lights you up? It is an energetic exchange in business. The more you love something and you think it is hell yes, and the more you lead with that internal place first, the more powerful you will create from there. We all like know this as creators. But we are in this bad place sometimes where we think of these really cool things. And you've been through this in your evolution of your career. I know, Mike, you're like, where is this going? I don't know if it's going to work. You followed your hell yes. You kind of just went with that. And then you collected the data. So most people will not give in to the hell yes. They're not even looking for that. But my recommendation is build something that is hell yes for you, and then let the people who think it is hell yes for them too find you. You like pull them in like a magnet. So you want to start with your hell yes. Like, what problem do you want to solve? What people do you want to work with? What lights you up? Because let's face it, building a business doesn't happen in 3 seconds and it takes effort. So that energy that you're bringing compels it. It also makes you creative. So you start to think about, like, hey, if I want to do this thing and solve this problem with this person, how do I do that creatively? So that first piece is really that hell yes energy. Like, what is hell yes for you? And you and I also talk about, like, when you start plugging into that, the whole journey is so much more fun.
yeah.
So that first piece is really the hell yes part, plugging into your own hell yes.
Yeah. I second all of that, and I find it really fascinating because it can be a little tricky,
Mhm.
and counterintuitive that people think, "Oh, well, nobody will pay me to do this," or "I
Yes.
love doing this so much I would do it for free. I can't charge thousands of dollars to do it."
Yeah.
And you
Mhm.
talk yourself out of these
Talk yourself out of it.
offers so
Yeah.
much. So I guess that's why it helps to have a good coach, JessicaMillerCoaching.com,
Mhm.
uh, or have an outside party looking at this to kind of go, you know what, you're really good at that, or I
Mhm.
would pay you to do this. And I try to really listen to um the market a little bit, but not in a bad way. I think
Mhm.
um there's some common tropes where the famous line is the customer is always right,
Mm.
and it's a common myth that the economist who said that meant the consumer, like the market is always right. Like if
Mhm.
you didn't get a great offer, like any individual customer can be wrong. They
Right.
idiots exist all the time, or they're not a good fit for your
Right.
business, and so you don't
Right.
want to listen to those people.
Yes. And actually
But
to
when you
that
look at
point,
the
Mike.
macro, that's where I think it's like, oh, I I started talking to people about Avenue 9 and this AI marketing and stuff that I could do. And I got 3 clients in 3 weeks, and I
Yeah.
hadn't even started the business yet. And I had replaced my daytime income. And I was
Mhm.
like, well, that's a pretty big sign.
Hell yes to
Right.
that. This is
You're like,
awesome.
that that feels like I hit a nerve there.
Yeah.
I got 3 deals without even really trying very
Yeah.
hard. um, that's probably a good sign that I'm heading in the right direction. I think if you're struggling and you're pushing and you're running into stuff, you need to kind of feel out that energy and move. But you shouldn't try to mold yourself into what other people think
Right.
you should, especially people who are not buying from you, because you'll get a lot of consultants, friends, and family, or competitors saying, "Oh, you know what you should do? There's a hole in the market where nobody's doing this," and yeah, nobody's doing it because it's not profitable or nobody
Right.
wants it.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
let's find what everybody else
Yeah.
is buying.
Right. And that goes back to your point of like being careful who you listen to. And that's why I think it's really important starting with you because then you can take something and do exactly what you said, go out there and test it. But a lot of times, it always blows my mind. People will go into these groups like, "Hey, I want to run a retreat in, Bolivia. What do you think?" And then, 50 people are like, "Yes, yes, yes." I mean, not your ideal client, have no idea what you're talking about. You're getting all this feedback in like a vacuum. So it's really important. The starting point is important. And then when you have it and you go out there, you're also being careful of the things that you talked about, like who are you offering this to? What kind of market testing are you doing? Right off the bat with like the right ideal client and taking your idea out there and seeing how people react. I mean, you could get a pretty good idea very quickly. And it doesn't need to be a whole blown out marketing campaign. I mean, it's like go
Yeah.
talk to 10 of your ideal clients, kind of old school marketing here, you know what I mean? And see what happens and go from there. So
Well, I think
that
that's
is
the
important.
human first part. To tie it back to the theme of the podcast, is you got to go
Mhm.
talk to some humans first.
Yeah,
Talk
talk to
to some
people.
clients, talk to some people. I wrote a book, Playful Humans, this year, and one of my favorite marketers is Seth Godin. He's like, if you
Yeah,
can't get 10 people to read your book for free and pass it
right,
along to somebody else, you can't get thousands of people to buy your book.
right.
So,
Totally.
like, go find people, and you do have to be careful about asking the right people that are in need and
Sure.
stuff. But yeah, some of your ideal clients, if you can find them and test that with humans first, then maybe we leverage technology and some of these other marketing
Yes.
tactics to help you flush that out. So that's where I was going to go next. Is what do you think a positive use of AI would be? Are there some tips or tactics where you could have AI ask you questions to help you articulate it, or narrow
Definitely.
down this, or even just maybe after you've settled on what that hell yes idea is, how do you
Mhm.
turn it into an actual offer or product might be a lot better use of it.
Yeah, I mean, so the other parts of the Hell Yes offer are really like calling in your people. So you want to own a specific problem, right? People put you in the Rolodex of their brain by the problem they have. They don't care that I'm Jess Miller. They just care like, can she help me make money faster? Great. Like that's where I am. I'm behind that problem of, making money more easily. So you want to own a very specific problem. And then right behind that is you want to have a compelling solution. Like Hell Yes offers are awesome because people really want it, and I see this for myself, even when I'm like buying on Amazon. I could buy somewhere else, but a value lever for me is speed. So when Amazon's like, I'll get it there tomorrow between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. So I'm going to wake up with this thing on my doorstep. Like that's compelling. It is binge worthy. So when you have these pieces, then to go into AI and load these things in and ask for like, what would be a good hook, or what would this look like, in a powerful way? Or to your point, what questions would people have, even objections for a certain ideal customer, I think is really powerful. And you always talk about like the human first component. We cannot take us out of the AI experience. So for me, when I don't
Mm.
want to spend my whole day wordsmithing something, I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to get some feedback. They're going to understand my ideal client. But then I humanize it to Jess. I contextualize it to my clients. And it does make me so much better because now I've taken a very rote thing that would have taken a ton of my time, inefficient, don't want that. But then I've married it with all of my best skills. Like speaking is easy for me and I like sales. So now I've got these pieces that I can then mold into my own conversation, and it has flex. So one of the things I think with AI, and I think you and I were talking about this, is like it cannot have the sales call for you. Like
Yeah.
it could spit out some of these great points, and it could even give you a script. But guess what? If that person you are talking to about your awesome offer says one thing outside of the script, you are not going to know what to do if you're just reading the script. So it's really powerful in giving you the tools for you to be a better version of who you are. And that's how I love AI. I mean, I think it's really powerful in helping me be better at what it is I love to do and saving me the time on all the crap I don't want to do so I can stay in my lane on my 20% that's really pushing my business forward.
Yeah, you made me think of a couple of things there. One is the human last part is important. You have
Yeah.
to take it the last mile. You have to have these conversations. You still have to be involved in your business. And people want to connect with people, not
Mhm.
robots and stuff. The other thing, though, that I thought was really interesting is going back to these kind of stereotypes that AI is really good at writing things structurally or like everything else, and it can
Yes.
follow a nice format. If you say, here's the three parts of the offer, I want a hook question, I want three value statements, and I want an offer at the end, it'll write the call to action just fine. But
Mhm.
you have to kind of make this your own and match your brand and personality and your audience, because I kind of found that it also falls into those typical stereotype
Yeah.
tropes. And it's
Mhm.
really easy. I taught people how to write their 30-second commercial for about 15 years. And I've done this thousands of times. And every time you ask somebody to say, hey, give me your pitch, tell me what your business is about, they will start going into resume speak, using big
Yeah.
words, talking about how
Mm.
long they've been in business and trying to sound all official and credible. And it's really boring and really
Yeah.
bad.
Yep.
Very few people will say something interesting if
Yeah.
you ask them, tell me about your business. And
Yeah.
so I think it does take this kind of pattern interrupt. You got to break
Mhm.
this stereotype. You got to break the typical resume speak, AI robot speak, like copywriting tactics, and put your personality into it a lot. Have you found any tricks for that when you're working with people? Or I'm sure you've seen that a ton as a
Yeah,
problem.
I mean, I always tell people, like, do not, like, to your point, do not end with AI. Like, it is an input. And to the point that you just made, if you think about the fact that it's pulling from all of this information, of course, what it's going to spit out is going to sound like what's already out there, right? And the loudest message. It's not going to like nuance. So I do tell people, like, leverage it to the way that you want to leverage it, but offers are contextual and selling offers are contextual. So
Mm,
you need to understand your ideal client contextually. And I can give you an example with one of my like hell yes offers that I had. I helped people create hell yes offers, and it was a 12-week asynchronous program. It had a portal on the back with some, very short informational videos. It was powerful and very niche and focused, but sort of like typical in the construction. And we did it over 12 weeks. Well, people were getting great results, and it was awesome. But what we started finding is that we were almost front loading it. Like they were getting these results in like 4
mm,
weeks, 6 weeks. And so finally one day I sat down with a few of my clients and I was like, what do you think about this? Because for me, this is an awesome offer, but it's just lacking that one more like hell yes thing. And I said, speed is important to me. I mentioned that earlier. So like, how could I get this right now? And so we went back and forth and talked about this. And I was like, how about like offer in a day? Get an offer in a day. Like by the end of this day, you will have a hell yes offer. They are like, hell yes. Are you selling that? Like they were ready to buy it again. And to your point you made earlier, when I decided I'm just going to see who likes this because I already have the framework,
Yeah.
I sold 3 of them in 2 days. So there is that piece of like, what are your clients feeling? Like, what is that feedback? AI cannot pick that up. They can't pick up the, yeah, it's great, but there was one extra thing that would make it different. And they
Yeah.
can't pick up my energy because also giving that kind of an offer to someone for me is so much more powerful. Like it's faster. They're getting results. I feel good. It's a love fest. You know what I mean? All the things.
Yeah, I know you are a certified life coach and stuff too, and I saw the word vibe on
Yeah.
your website, and I think there is just this vibe, like you hit a tone or a resonance with people when you know you've nailed the offer. It
Yes.
just it feels good to you.
Mm-hmm.
Other people are responding to it, and it feels like almost like a flow state where you're like, oh yeah,
100%.
this is
Yes.
happening, and it's
Yeah.
just so much more fun. So I would just
Yeah.
encourage everybody listening, if you're not feeling that in your business, keep trying,
Yeah.
keep
Go look
working on
for
it,
it.
keep finding other stuff, and
Yes.
keep working, because it's not supposed to be hard. It's not supposed
No.
to be a grind. You shouldn't have to convince and push everybody and do all kinds of crazy tricks to get them to buy from you. It should be a hell yes for you and for them
And
when
for
working
them.
together.
Yeah. 100%. And your whole funnel will work better. It's like it is like a linchpin. Like it is one really powerful thing that sets all of those other things in a more powerful place. And I think you said it too, you show up differently. Like you step into a different identity when you're clear and you have confidence because you know when people buy this thing, they are going to hit the jackpot. And it's awesome. Like who doesn't want to sell that? It's so good.
Yeah, so I think we nailed that. But before I let you go, I have two crazy questions. I
Yeah.
also saw on your website that you had a near death experience
Yes. Oh my gosh.
and a heart attack. And I'm just wondering, like, if you took any lessons from that, because you know, kind of changed your life and rebuilt things after that, and how that changed your vibe and energy.
Yeah. I mean, in a couple of ways. I think anyone who's been through any sort of trauma, knows that it very quickly puts your life in perspective. And what I learned from that is like time waits for nobody. And I had wanted to be an entrepreneur. I thought it was only for special snowflakes. I decided it's now or never. And as I went through that process of working with people, I realized time is their most valuable resource too. That's really led me to the offer. And then the evolution of the offer is with more established business owners is finding those profit levers. Like it is looking at your business, finding the one thing that is going to be the focal point now that's going to get you that big ROI. And it's really helping people buy back their time and their freedom by doing a lot less and getting a lot more. And I'm really passionate about that. So yes, it helped my business and it set my career in that trajectory. But I think the biggest gift is when you start to look at life and your business through that lens, like what can I do to create the most impact, the most money, the most clients? Everything changes. And you can actually enjoy the moment because you're not running around doing all the things that are the 80% that are not getting you closer to what you want. So I would
Yeah.
not wish it upon anyone to go through that, journey. But um, I think the silver lining of that is being able to help people, navigate their life and their career in a more powerful way.
Yeah, I think as you get older too, I think everybody kind of ends up in that space. Like you think you can do everything and try all of it and be everything to everyone. And eventually that's going to catch up
Yeah.
to you.
It's not sustainable and it's
So
not very much
hopefully you
fun.
don't have to have a heart attack to figure that
No,
out.
that's
And
right.
but even just a failing business feels, like a
Horrible.
heart attack and stuff too.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
panicked all the time, and you're just like, oh, okay, no, I need to focus in on what the core of my, offer is, my humanity is, like what the
Mhm.
value I'm bringing, what's important to me. And once you start narrowing down, it really becomes a lot more fun, and I think sustainable in your life.
100%. Yes.
So that brings us to our last question, which is, when you play this out, 15, 30 years in the future, I can see a couple of things here. One, I think for what you do, this problem still exists, right? In a world where you can make anything and start any business or design any app in a day, a week, a month, you can do anything. The question becomes like, what do you want to do? What's that
Right.
hell yes offer for you or for your clients that's going to be worthy of making if you can make anything? The second part of the question is, when you play this out, how do you see like kind of the future of what humans role is and maybe how much you think AI could actually do in this regard?
Yeah, I mean, specifically around growth and offers, I mean, there's a lot of leverage with AI. You can get a lot of these answers quickly when you learn how to use it powerfully and customize it, right? You don't want to just throw something into this machine in a way that's not very specific. So I think that part of it actually is an asset. This other piece of the human consumption and the energetic part of what it is that we do, it's not enough just to like run a business, throw an offer together and make a lot of money. I mean, that's great. And some people would be like, hell yes, please just let me do that. But it becomes very disconnected from what it is that we feel purpose against. And so I think that part of it is going to always need other humans because it is a human engagement and we are humans that are driving that beginning part of this equation. In whatever way I think we can use AI, for good and in a way to get what it is we need, we should use it. Why waste time where we don't have to do that? Um, but we are emotional beings. And even now, there's certain parts of my life where would I just want to feed it into a machine that is, like we said, taking in all this random information from all these places and trust what it is spitting out at me with no context? The answer is no. So we're not there yet. Um, and I think, humans have interacted for for all of time. I don't think it's going to change. But I think being efficient is a beautiful thing. It allows you to do other things that only you as a human can do. So
Yeah.
where the technology can help you, don't fight it. Go with it and figure out where there's that line. And kind of back to what I was saying all the way at the beginning, there's going to be other people just like you who think about it the same way you do. Those are your people. The ones who want to feed everything into a machine and they don't even want to ever see a human again, maybe not your person if that's not your thing. But I
Well,
wouldn't
yeah,
fear
one of
it.
the things we haven't mentioned so far is a great place to start is getting rid of the hell no people
That's right.
and the hell no tasks that you're like,
That's
if you
right.
can get that over to AI and you hate, filling out spreadsheets or whatever, if you
Mhm.
love it, great. But if you don't, get rid of it, get it
Yeah.
automated, get it outsourced to somebody else, delegate that stuff
Yeah.
so that you can focus on the hell yes stuff is a
Yeah.
really good part. You'll start
Yeah.
narrowing down to it.
Yeah. And even if you do
What
the
about
AI, like
just the
it
future of humanity in general? If you had to pick a sci-fi movie of where you think we'll end up or where you hope we end up, do you think it's like Star Trek, Star Wars, Minority Report, Matrix, Terminator? What
So, I mean, we just
which
watched
element?
all 3 Star Wars episodes with our kids who are 10 and 7, so I'm, like, in that, like, mind space. I
Yeah.
mean, I love it, right? It's good versus evil. It's this idea of energy, like the Force, use the Force. I mean, I think all of that is really metaphoric to, like, what we're dealing with right now in general as humans. So I would like to think that it is going to end up in that way where, like, good triumphs evil in that sense. Um, but I think it's up to us. Like, at the end of the day, we are the input. And it's like anything else, like garbage in, garbage out. It's just a tool. So as humans, we have to decide what we're going to do with it. And I think we have the opportunity to do really awesome things if we choose. I don't think it's something we have to be feared. So I would say more of like a Star Wars than maybe, something more destructive.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I was actually a little disappointed in Star Wars on the very ending because um I thought they had a really cool chance to kind of meld both. Like, I get it, it's always light side, dark side, and you want the light to win. But especially with those characters, they had this way, they were both blended from the opposite sides that they could have just said, you know what? Forget those things. Like, why don't we both have, good stuff, bad stuff, part of
Yeah.
it. Like, let's just exist in a world without these sides fighting. And I think that's more of like the Star Trek Next Generation future that I hope we kind of end up in.
Mhm.
But it is fascinating. I do think good will triumph over evil, and we'll have a really cool future with technology too. That it's not AI versus humans, but it's AI with humans as we move forward. So, why don't you tell us your offer and how you can help us or how we can help you?
Yeah, so I have 2 offers. I try to be streamlined and efficient like I talk about. So for any business owners who are struggling to get over that $1,000,000 mark, or they're like 750,000 or less, really your hell yes offer is your lever to pull. So I help people create a hell yes offer in a day, and it's powerful. You walk away with your offer by the end of that day, and everyone's happy. And then on the other side, if you're at a million or over, like we were talking about earlier, you have an awesome offer. So now it's about optimizing your business and finding the hidden money that's already there. You've done the hard work. You do not need to work harder. You need to uncover the levers that live in your business right now that will unlock that money so you can grow more easily. And that's a consulting offer that I offer.
Love it. Go to jessicamillercoaching.com. And for Avenue 9 and our human first AI marketing, you can find more at avenue9.com. I help people with the high volume content marketing where I can interview you in a situation like this and then turn this into all of the other content and offers that you need. You want to make a white paper, a ebook, social media content, start a podcast, happy to help you do that as well as figure out AI strategy in your business. So more information at Avenue 9. Subscribe, share this episode with somebody that you think needs to hear it, and we'll see you next time. Good luck, everybody.